Whoa, hello. It has been a hot minute, isn't it? What? It has been, I've even forgotten how to talk. It has been a hot minute since you and I had a little chat. That's what I'm going to talk to you about. Oh my gosh, it's been wild. I think we need to have a cup of tea and I think we need to sit and have a little heart to heart. I'm going to share some vulnerable things, as always. Oh my gosh, I even feel like I'm drying up at the moment. But yeah, I'm going to share about anxiety that I've been struggling with and or working with, I guess, over the last few weeks. And hopefully it might support you in feeling good about how you're feeling, even if you're not feeling so great. So let's get a cup of tea, sit down, chill, and have a little heart to heart. Okay, let's sit and have a chat about anxiety. So, where do we even begin? So, this is part of the problem, is that it really leads to this such massive overwhelm that I don't even know how to speak or to get my thoughts in order. It's something that I've always I wouldn't always say that I've struggled with it, but it's always been a part of my life and a part of my journey. Even since I was really tiny, I have loads of memories, and my family has memories of me just being so hesitant to do anything. It would take me such a long time to get comfortable showing up to do something. So, and I know this is kind of normal for some children, but I just wouldn't really get involved or participate very easily. So things like I wouldn't really go to nursery on my own. I wouldn't let my mum leave me. It's definitely anxious attachment style. But then yeah, as I've been older and as I've grown up, it's kind of shown up in different ways. So definitely at work, feeling very overwhelmed and having panic attacks in the office. As one of the reasons I quit my corporate job, because I started having panic attacks on my way to work and in the office as well. I was sitting in a team meeting and it just came over me and I was like, whoa, I need to do something about this. And it was a big trigger for changing my whole life. And then now, how it shows up now. So I've done so much healing. I mean, I've been on my healing journey. I had my first awakening experience 4 years ago. So I've been on this journey for a while. And I really thought with healing the wounds of sexual trauma that I just wouldn't have anxiety anymore. And it turns out that's not true. And maybe it's just part of my DNA and part of my genetic makeup. And I kind of want to just share it because there's this idea of being fully healed. And I held on to it for a really long time, that once I really healed my trauma, then there wouldn't be any real more healing. The trauma was the thing that made me kind of go in a certain direction, and that if that was fully healed and left my body, then I wouldn't have any of these neuroses or anything. And it turns out that's just not true. And especially with running my own business, oh my gosh, it's just a different kind of stress. It's so much better. It's so much better than, for me, it's so much better than having a manager and working in a big structured organization or even a small structured one. I just love being my own boss. But it also means that stress and the pressure is just different because it's 24/7, it's all the time, and you really don't switch off that much. This lighting is really not great, but let's just keep going. My last video was me taking creative space, and that was huge, really, really important to have that. And then now coming back into work, or coming back into the more visible side of my work. So let's just be clear, I can still have client conversations and do my day-to-day running of my business, even when I'm going through that kind of space. But what I find really hard is creating new products and really selling, going through a big launch. Those are the two things that I find more challenging to do. But keeping up with the daily stuff that's so taking the creative space is really to have new ideas about new products and new offerings. But yeah, so in taking that space, I felt all these old feelings come up of feeling not good enough, of my lack of self-confidence, which is mad. Like, it's really insane even to like be sharing that with you, because I'm so competent and I'm so confident in what I do in my work, in like my daily life. So I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't even know where it comes from. And it kind of just led me back on the road. Okay, like, what kind of healing needs to happen to kind of shift this, and can it really ever be shifted? And this is what I'm exploring right now with myself. And maybe if you have any experiences with like chronic long-term anxiety, then let me know. I'm interested to hear. So all the normal things work. So spending time in nature, breathing, like breathwork practice, meditation, being healthy, exercising, nutrition, all those things. I've been doing that for a while, so I totally know they all work and they definitely help. But I'm also going to start therapy, which is really exciting, because I have never done like traditional talk therapy before. I went straight from my big struggles into like very like spiritual healing and coaching world. Like, I never really went through counseling or talk therapy, like psychotherapy, anything like that. So I'm really excited to try that out and see how that goes and how that works for me. But yeah, otherwise I just need to find a way for my life to feel less stressful, and maybe partly talking about it here will help a little bit as well. It's just that feeling of like where you wake up and you're overwhelmed, even though your day is like relatively clear, you know that you don't have any pressure on you, and you just feel like it's still too much, you know? And I also, in this video, seeing as we're sitting and having a chat, let's just have some tea actually. Seeing as we're sitting and having a chat about failure as well, and I did an Instagram live on this and an Instagram post, and I think it's so important, especially in the context of what I'm just talking about and healing anxiety. We're always going to fail in business at times, and by fail I mean I'm talking about a zero sale moment. It's like a flopped whatever sale, flopped launch, whatever you want to call it. But I don't really look at it in those terms. I just look at it in like, this is a part of business, and the more we put ourselves out there and the more that we show up and the more that we sell, the more times we're actually going to fail. But it really means we're doing something right. It really means that we are showing up and we are offering ourselves to the world. We can't be afraid of that. We can't be afraid of that rejection. We can't be afraid of those zero moments. It's so much better to show up and to offer your thing, to sell your thing, and to get nobody responding to you, than it is to just sit and never put it out there and never offer it. And obviously, you know, unfortunately I've had enough success of having people saying yes and wanting what I'm offering, that I know what I have is a good product and I know what I do is really powerful. But it's still, you know, it's still heartbreaking when nobody like wants what we're selling, right? But getting through that is a part of growing and strengthening ourselves in business. It's kind of the fuel to the fire of like, okay, how can I do it better? How can I come back stronger? How can I climb this mountain again? It's motivating in a way. It's inspiring to be like, okay, this time I missed the mark. Like, what can I do to do better next time? Is there something that I can change? If I reflect back, like, how could it go better? Really, it's a chance to reflect and to go back inside and to be like, is this really my heart's work? Am I fully behind my work energetically? Am I really communicating it powerfully enough of what I do and who I am? And this really ties back in for me to anxiety, which is rooted in like lack of self-confidence, is that I can default really easily to showing up like 70% of the way there, right? I'm like mostly there, but then sometimes I'm just not fully there. And I've had this feedback so many times. I don't know if any of you can relate to this, where you're like there and you're present, but you're just not fully invested in it. This has been my story for so much of my life. So this is also something that I'm working on in healing. It's very present. Like, you know, I'm not a guru. I'm definitely not a guru. And I'm a coach and I'm a healer. But I'm still healing and working with all these things, right? I'm still moving in all this energy, and like, we're doing it together. And this is really what I don't think comes across enough for me in this industry, is that when you work with someone, you're not saying they're better than me, they're further ahead than me, they're further along in the journey. Like, they know more than me. It's not really that. It's really that you're wanting something that they are able to provide for you, but that doesn't mean they have the answers to everything. It doesn't just mean that blanket statement they're better than you. Like, I'm not better than any of my clients. It's just that I have a piece of knowledge. I have some energetic understandings and wisdom that they don't have in a specific area. So it's early stage business for me, but they might have some understanding and energetic wisdom and knowledge in an area that I don't. So something at the moment that I'm working on as well is like polarity and sensuality and sexuality. Like, I had a Kundalini awakening last year and went through a lot of this process, but I'm really wanting to learn more about it again. So I'm going to go find someone who is amazing at that. And that's how this works. Like, we're all students and we're all teachers at the same time. So that's what I wanted to really share with you. If you resonated with any of this, if you found any of it useful, or really, I just want to know if you see yourself in any of what I'm saying, because we're all just here for connection, right? This is part of the reason why I wanted this channel to exist in the first place, to just share a little bit more about women behind the business and the coaching exterior, because we're all just humans, right? We're all just humans sharing this journey together. I'm sending you loads of love. Have a beautiful rest of your day.